Welcome to the Nation of History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Wartime propaganda in Papua New Guinea used intimidating visual rituals, such as decorative skulls, to promote compliance with preventive malaria treatment, important in the fight against tropical diseases that affected soldiers and local populations during the 1940s. The presence of sisters Rosa and Josefa Blazek beside Rosa with her son Franz reveals medical advances of the early 20th century, highlighting social and scientific issues of the time, especially regarding medical procedures and human physical understanding. The image, dated 1910, shows the impact of these achievements on the lives of people with unusual characteristics. Caregivers assist soldiers in Buna during the Papua Campaign in 1942, an important milestone in World War II. This episode highlighted Allied resistance against Japan's advance in the Pacific and showed strategies in tropical environments that influenced future actions. Fannie Mills became known in 19th century exhibition circuits as the Ohio Bigfoot Girl, because of a rare condition affecting her lower limbs. By the mid-1890s, her appearance drew major attention from audiences interested in seeing unusual cases of that time up close. The preparation of a Hawker hurricane for the Battle of Britain in 1940 reflected a crucial moment in British air defense against German advances. This conflict marked the United Kingdom's resistance in World War II, showing the importance of the military effort in the Allied victory. Valerie Dolores, with dark hair and a style typical of the 1970s, appears indoors with wooden furniture and an old computer screen. A paper with English text on the wall suggests a moment of technological transformation that affected customer service at the time. The delicate moment of 1962 tensions in the Caribbean was shown by the presence of defensive equipment facing the ocean, in an atmosphere that marked the Cold War. The black and white image, with details from the 1960s, reveals concern over a possible incursion on the Florida coast. In the marks left by the Civil War, a house in Atlanta, Georgia shows the effects of the 1864 conflict. Its walls display visible signs of the period, while surrounding trees reinforce the setting of major historical impact. This scene illustrates the consequences of the conflict that changed the fate of the South. The young woman receives a penalty for taking a coat, being sent to 1 month of compulsory service in 1870. The low-quality black and white image reflects the Victorian period and the history of minor offenses common in England during that century, highlighting the strictness of justice. In the 20th century, a girl holds a photo of her sister, whose face has been removed from the image, reflecting longing, absence, or family silence. The aged black and white photograph shows difficult times where memories and family stories remain preserved in a simple portrait with a curtain in the background. Movement of steamboats in 1938 in the port area of Southwark, London, reveals a vibrant industrial setting. This era marked the height of London trade, driven by maritime congestion and economic growth, influencing the urban landscape and the development of the port center. After recent settlement, settlers and natives in the Guthrie Indigenous Territory celebrate the opening of new areas after the land run of April 24, 1889, an event that drove expansion and the formation of cities in Oklahoma, marking the beginning of a process of settlement and change in territorial history. A famous baseball player, probably Babe Ruth, needed a few minutes to recover after crashing into a wall while chasing a fly ball in 1924. After that, He got 2 more hits, marking a performance remembered in the history of the sport in the early 20th century. Inside a cotton mill in South Carolina around 1908, a child appears beside old machines reflecting the early participation of miners in factory settings driven by the Industrial Revolution, which transformed work and society in the United States during that period. During the settling of the West, the town of Colville was emerging in 1868 in Utah, with simple buildings, old vehicles, and telephone lines on wooden poles. This phase marked the consolidation of European control over indigenous territories, driving the region's economic development. After the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln on April 14, 1865, the United States War Department offered large rewards for John Wilkes Booth, the suspect in the crime, increasing the search for justice to strengthen national unity and end the period of civil conflict. A miner from the Northumberland region eats his evening meal beside his wife around 1937, showing the hard routine of the British working class. Covered in coal soot, he shares a simple moment in a humble home setting that reflects the social reality of industrial areas of that time. Before 1956, French children received a diluted drink with school lunch. This practice reflected the social and cultural customs of the time, becoming a tradition that changed with the modernization of children's nutrition in France. During the Klondike Gold Rush in 1898, miners and prospectors faced the harsh crossing of Chilkoot Pass, carrying heavy clothing and climbing the snowy trail step by step, marking a decisive episode in the search for fortune in northern Canada. The presence of a pet lion, shown in a black and white photo from 1971, reveals a time of cultural experimentation in 1970s Hollywood, where celebrities sought original forms of expression and status, reflecting the influence of entertainment and party culture on American society of the period. The figure of Manfred von Richthofen, known as the Red Baron, symbolizes an icon of World War I after achieving 80 confirmed victories in 1917. His courage and skills transformed aerial combat, marking military history to this day. The presence of United States President John F. Kennedy beside Somali Prime Minister Abdirashid Ali Shamarka on November 27, 1962, symbolizes the strengthening of diplomatic relations during the Cold War, shortly before both men died in the 1960s, marking decisive moments in global history. Labor uprisings of the 1960s reveal the growth of the movement for social justice. In a context of economic and political change, workers from an important bank pose for photographs that symbolize workers' strength in the fight for better conditions and rights, reflecting the desire for social transformation. The first underwater photograph from 1899 shows a diver with advanced equipment, demonstrating the beginning of aquatic exploration through clear black and white images. This advance marked a revolution in the history of oceanography, expanding knowledge of underwater environments. In the early 20th century, progress in aviation transformed military and civilian horizons, aligning with the technological innovations shown in the display of a historic model. The Junkers Ju-49 stands out as the first aircraft with a pressurized cabin, a symbol of progress and innovation in German aviation in the 1930s, representing a crucial phase in the evolution of commercial and military aircraft. Samuel Reshevsky's early childhood, at 8 years old, was marked by defeating several chess masters in France in 1920, showing his extraordinary talent. This victory highlighted the potential of young prodigies and influenced future generations in the history of the game, marking an important moment in the 20th century. Henri Manuel captured a scene of Claude Monet in his studio in Giverny in 1923 while he worked on Water Lilies, one of the most iconic works of Impressionism. This historical image reveals the moment of creation of one of the most influential works of modernist painting, whose cultural impact continues today. In the 1905 photo, workers and two men in formal clothing observed the construction of the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, with visible scaffolding and modernist architecture underway, marking an important moment in the work begun by Antoni Gaudí, whose completion represents a symbol of Catalan cultural identity. In the 1970s, construction of the iconic Sydney Opera House was moving forward with scaffolding and cranes visible. Its revolutionary structure, built on Sydney's waterfront, became a milestone in world architecture, influencing cultural projects and the city's urban development. The suspension bridge with visible cables symbolizes the 1937 opening, marking the construction of San Francisco's most famous symbol, open to the public with a traditional ceremony. The steel structure and clear sky highlight technological progress and civic unity at that time. Harriet Tubman, a symbolic figure in the pursuit of freedom in the United States, is portrayed in 1911 with a time-worn appearance and period clothing, highlighting her role as a social activist and abolitionist who inspired deep changes in the country's history. Actress Rita Hayworth, a symbol of Hollywood in the 1940s, stars in a scene from the film Gilda, released in 1946, showing the glamour of cinema's golden age. The black and white photograph captures typical clothing and hairstyles, reflecting the elegance of the era and the cultural influence of movies on society. A black and white portrait reveals Marilyn Monroe without makeup in 1955, showing her natural appearance through an uncommon lens. This image reinforces the impact of her authenticity on fame, marking a personal and public phase in the history of cinema and 1950s pop culture. In the 1950s, famous singer Ella Fitzgerald and iconic actress Marilyn Monroe shared a moment in elegant outfits at an indoor social event. The image reveals how major public figures of the time often attended middle-age gatherings, influencing culture and fashion. In the 1950s, the image of Nena von Schliebrugge, Uma Thurman's mother, captured the elegance of the fashion of that time, shown by the wool dress, fur coat, and classic hairstyle. The photo, published in 1958 in Vogue, reflects the style and glamour of the 50s that marked the transition between decades. In the 1950s, women like Mame Van Doren enjoyed unique details, such as her Jaguar car that leaked oil, reflecting the lifestyle of the time. Black and white photos capture the vintage look, marking a period of social and cultural transformation in the United States. The figure of Steve McQueen beside his iconic 1966 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray 427 recalls the peak of 1960s car culture, marking the connection between cinema, lifestyle, and speed. With period clothing and an outdoor setting, the scene reinforces the star's influence in the world of classic cars and jazz, cementing his image immortalized in history. Donald Trump, in 1980, appears in a suit beside a model of his future Trump Tower, a few years before acquiring 100 Central Park South, consolidating his real estate empire. The indoor setting shows the strategy of expansion and property value growth at the time. During the 1960s, Harvey Ross Ball created the iconic yellow smile on a promotional poster to spread optimism and happiness in the workplace. This image became a worldwide symbol of happiness, influencing motivational campaigns and representing the culture of the era in a lasting way. In the 1960s, Muhammad Ali, then 24 years old, was seen flirting with Belinda Boyd in a Chicago bakery, shown by black and white photos featuring casual clothing and the hairstyle of the time. The couple would marry 1 year later, in 1967, marking his personal life and athletic path. En Rue d'Antibes, in 1971, the famous couple was photographed in clothing typical of the decade, such as denim jackets and a straw hat, reflecting 1970s fashion. The black and white photo shows an important cultural moment, marking the artistic and social scene of the time. In the context of diplomatic meetings, a gathering of 5 men around a table with traditional food and Chinese utensils reveals the importance of negotiations between China and the United States. References to architecture, vegetation, and signs in English reinforce the international and historical nature of the moment. Virginia City, a mining center in the 1860s, hosted a Wells Fargo and Company office that made the transport of gold and silver easier. The image shows a period setting with a carriage, formal clothing, and historic buildings, marking the expansion of the financial sector on the western frontier of the United States. The image shows a street with simple wooden buildings, period clothing, and no modern vehicles, recalling Utah in the 1860s. This period marks the expansion of the West, revealing the effort of settlement and regional development that influenced the local social and economic structure. In the history of an old city, men with hats and formal clothing drive horse-drawn carriages, while wooden buildings and signs in English reveal local commerce. With no motor vehicles, the scene reflects a pre-industrial and urban period. Driven by the expansion of trade and communication, businessmen created Holliday's Overland Mail and Express Company to transport messages and cargo through the interior of the United States. This initiative, with carriages and dirt roads, was vital to the country's development, influencing future connections between regions. In the early 20th century, boats like the dredge boat, recorded 3 miles from Galveston, reflected the importance of maritime transportation in a region with strong port activity, marking the economic development of the Texas coast in 1900. Workers at the Hershey factory in the 1930s, wearing white clothing and caps, manually wrapped each candy before automation in 1937. This handmade method reflected the early phase of chocolate production, whose automation would later increase efficiency and expand the scale of product consumption. In 1957, progress in home technology stood out with the introduction of a GE combination washer and dryer, a symbol of post-war optimism and the innovative design of that decade. This innovation reflected the search for convenience and modernity in the family routine of the time. Appearing in the setting of an old park, a futuristic monorail with a shiny metal structure reveals technological advances for the time, possibly in the 1960s, showing the search for innovation in urban mobility in Houston, Texas, influencing the development of sustainable transportation today. During 1917, electric cargo vehicles with an early 20th century design were being charged under an old structure in England, highlighting early efforts to electrify freight transportation and reflecting the search for alternatives to fossil fuels during that period. Traditional transportation mechanisms of the 1940s show a shipment of Ford cars dated 1946 in an outdoor lot. People wearing formal clothes and hats watch the operation. The black and white photograph reveals a typical industrial setting of the time, highlighting progress in vehicle production. The growth of casinos in Las Vegas in the 1950s transformed the city into a symbol of entertainment and gambling, with slot machines and distinctively decorated rooms. This expansion cemented Nevada's worldwide fame as a destination for betting and fun. Humphrey Bogart, in the 1942 film Casablanca, wears platform shoes during scenes beside Ingrid Bergman, who was 4 feet 11 inches tall, and for a moment was 1 inch taller than him. The black and white photograph highlights the style of the time, reflecting classic 1940s movie fashion. Beauty pageant winners in 1922 represent the fashion of the 1920s, with short outfits, striped stockings, and wide hats. This black and white photograph shows the trends of the time, marked by cultural changes, style innovation, and greater appreciation of women's beauty in British society. The history of 1950s fashion stands out through a portrait of a woman with curly, voluminous hair, wearing a light blouse, in an old 1957 photograph that shows the style of the time. She symbolizes the glamour and social changes of that period. Wearing jeans and a leather jacket, a woman with voluminous hair stands out in an indoor setting with dark walls, while an old rotary phone suggests a time before today's cell phones. The fashion and style point to the 1990s, marking a phase of cultural and technological transition. The photo reveals a young woman in Griffith Park in Los Angeles in the 1950s, dressed in the fashion of the time and with styled hair, reflecting the elegance of the 50s. This image represents the lifestyle and Hollywood culture that influenced the world, marking an era of social and cultural transformations. The photo captures a man with a traditional Rwandan hairstyle in 1923, wearing a light, long-sleeved shirt. During this time, cultural customs remained foundational to Rwandan identity, reinforcing ancestral heritage and the importance of traditions in local society. In the Kazimierz district of Krakow, a Hasidic man wears a fur shtreimel for the Sabbath, representing the region's strong Jewish tradition. The black and white photo shows old culture between 1935 and 1938, marking a period of religious preservation before the dramatic events of World War II. Men and women wear formal clothing on a cobblestone street in Dublin in 1900, while wooden handcarts pass between buildings with old architecture. This scene portrays daily life in the city, marked by trade, traditional society, and the beginning of the 20th century. The presence of a sponge seller on a New York street on September 7, 1896, shows the growth of street vending in the city, reflecting urban expansion and daily life in the 19th century. The record reveals the style, clothing, and architecture of that time. In the 1950s, riders with helmets and period clothing competed with old vehicles on dirt tracks surrounded by trees. This was the era of sidecar racing, marking the growth of motorsports and showing the enthusiasm for speed in rural settings. Men wearing loose clothing and wide-brimmed hats represent Irish fishermen from the early 20th century, whose work preserved maritime traditions during a time of intense social and economic change in Ireland and around the world. Sicilian workers, possibly olive pickers, appear wearing old clothing, wide hats, and work clothes, reaching trees with wooden ladders in a black and white photograph from a distant era. This record reflects agricultural labor and traditional techniques in Sicily. The 1880 photograph reveals workers building the Summit Tunnel, at the time one of the largest railroad projects in North America. The image captures a worker beside the North Portal, showing the technological and economic expansion driven by railroads in the 19th century. Families who used to travel through rural areas and small towns in their Ford Model T cars in 1918 marked an era of automotive innovation that made travel easier and connected communities. This photograph shows details of the time, such as period clothing, vegetation, and the absence of modern technologies. At the beginning of the 20th century, a family lives in its log cabin in West Virginia, in the rural United States, showing country life of the time. Traditional clothing, wooden furniture, and a forest landscape in the background portray the simplicity and lifestyle common in the region in 1900, marking a crucial phase of settlement and social development. In the 1920s, black and white photographs captured austerity and admiration for nature. In the image, a man with his dog in Yosemite shows the value of connection with the environment while establishing the identity of the national park in the United States, created in 1890 as a symbol of conservation and exploration. During the Trans-Antarctic expedition from 1955 to 1958, a snowcat carefully crosses a crack in the ice in Antarctica, shown in an old black and white photograph. The driver wears winter clothing, and the vehicle has track traction and an antenna support. In 1925, girls in period clothing play on a sled at Mount Rainier with traditional outfits, old ski equipment, and conifer trees around them. This image reveals the beginning of winter tourism in the region, important for the development of sports and mountain recreation. In the 1950s, the presence of old vehicles, period clothing, and high-quality photography suggests the period. English signs and tall buildings indicate an urban area of New York, marking the city's expansion and cultural growth after the war. People wearing formal period clothing, such as hats and dresses, represent mid-20th century social habits in New York. This old photograph, probably from between 1930 and 1950, records the presence of notable figures at the World's Fair, an event that consolidated cultural and technological advances of that period. At the Londrina Municipal Council School, students took part in a parade to display the clothes they had learned to make, demonstrating sewing skills in the mid-20th century. The event reflected the importance of practical learning for women's social independence at that time. In the city of Kaliningrad in 1982, a quiet street reveals period architecture with leafless trees, old cars with Cyrillic plates, and early 1980s furnishings. This setting portrays Soviet society during perestroika, marking political and social transition in that period. In the 1950s, a bakery in Moscow reflected Soviet daily life with traditional furniture, a balance scale, and product shelves. People dressed according to the period moved through the place, which featured curtains and typical decoration, marking the atmosphere of the time. The image reveals an old milk distribution station with mechanical equipment and a German sign reading Milch Tankstelle. Children and adults wear period clothing, including caps, hats, jackets, and wool, while an employee in an apron works in the flow of activity, reflecting rural daily life in Germany during the 20th century. Women wearing period clothing, elaborate hairstyles, and pearl accessories are portrayed in a setting that dates back to the 19th century or the early 20th century. This image, from a Western context, reflects the fashion and architecture of that period, marking an era of important social and cultural transformations in history. Women carry heavy blocks of ice, a vital service before refrigerators became common in 1918, shown by period clothing and an urban setting. This task reflected the importance of manual labor in home preparation, highlighting women's role in early 20th century society. In the early 20th century, a girl wearing period clothing holds a chicken indoors, surrounded by wooden furniture and old architecture, reflecting rural or family daily life of the time. This scene represents the simplicity and connection with nature that shaped rural lives in this phase of Brazilian history. In the context of the 1950s, a person wearing a hat and glasses, dressed in old casual clothing, stands out in an outdoor setting with dirt and rocks. This era marked social and cultural transformation, reflected in portraits with wider reach and more accessible records. At the height of the 1960s in Vermont, cultural expressions appear through clothing and vehicles typical of the era, while advertising posters highlight the social mood. This period shows the growth of social movements, influencing cultural and political changes in the United States. In an old urban setting, a Chinese city, a lying man is observed among people wearing traditional clothing and hats, while a hand-pulled tricycle passes by, showing daily life in a past era. This image reinforces the history of social transformation in China during the last century. During the 1960s, childhood was marked by play on metal stair structures of old buildings in New York, as shown by black and white records of children wearing casual clothes in an urban setting typical of the time, reflecting the clothing and architecture of the period. Emotion and hope marked the reunion of a sailor and his baby after 14 months at sea during the 1940s, when World War II increased naval presence. This photo symbolizes the value of family and the effort of service members in times of global conflict. At the beginning of Frederick IX's reign in Denmark, he displays his ink in a photograph from the mid-1940s, a symbol of his authority after World War II, a moment of social and political reconstruction that would mark the modernization of the monarchy in a recovering European country. In the 1990s, an outdoor scene portrays the popularity of the 1992 film O Carga Pesada, which influenced Brazilian culture. This production reinforced the role of national heroes and highlighted popular representation, marking an important phase of Brazilian cinema at the time. In the modern era, signing documents became common in offices with glass settings and wooden furniture. The use of a pen and the signing motion indicate formality in the signing of an important document, reflecting updated practices of the 21st century. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, please use the Super Thanks tool below. Your contribution helps us keep bringing you amazing historical content. Thank you so much for your support, and see you in the next video.